Yo antona gona le ntago ene ngwene ke plomme yone kopanelane mane mfeto ka reka 6 ka reka le botlolo ntshola re plomme ele vibe mnate mone ke dikhawashi ke ditshisa nyama mone kasi is not a play go ka nyatsang ntja go chaila daddy aboa ka slam.
Welcome to Ikasilam. This episode acts as an introduction to what this podcast is all about. I'm going to tell the story of Kasi through the eyes of the people who have experienced it. We are going to establish whether there is a sense of place in townships. How did that come to be? What effect does it have on the community? What effect does it have on its surroundings? What does this mean for the future? We are going to attempt to define what a township is. But first, when I say township, what runs through your head? Is it areas usually outside of the city? Are you more likely to find black people in this area? Does this area have some sort of homogeneous structure and building typologies? Do they seem underdeveloped? The following section derives information from Strauss 2019. Between 1948 and 1990, the apartheid state developed extensive legal mechanisms to implement racially based spatial segregation in urban areas. These all contributed to constructing the legacy of spatial injustice in South Africa's contemporary towns and cities by either demarcating or controlling black urban settlement. The spatial reconfiguration of South Africa's majority black population resulted in concentrated pockets of severe inequality, poverty, and deprivation. The Group Areas Act 41 of 1950 had significant consequences for land use management, municipal planning, and settlement development in urban areas. It resulted in the large-scale eviction and spatial displacement of thousands of black people from well-located multiracial settlements in inner cities during the 1950s to townships on the peripheries. These townships became a defining feature of South African urban areas due to their location and standardized layouts. However, the displacement was not only of black populations, but of colored and Indian populations. In today's age, the moment you utter township, a black township comes to mind, not an Indian or a colored one. Hence, for the purpose of townships, in this podcast, I will refer to black townships as townships itself, kasi, or location. The apartheid government deliberately left townships underdeveloped and impoverished. Development and accessibility to job and commercial opportunities, education, transport, and services were not prioritized, leaving black people to fend for themselves and make ends meet. When the African National Congress won the elections in 1994, they promised to eradicate the serious problems caused by apartheid, such as spatial injustice, poverty, inequality, lack of adequate service delivery, and infrastructure and underdevelopment. The Reconstruction and Development Program, oftenly referred to as the RDP, was the primary socio-economic program following the elections in 1994. It is mostly known for its housing typologies in townships. The idea of rebuilding or renewing townships has been circulated since 1994, but no sizable transformation has occurred. Many township residents moved to other parts of the cities and others have stayed in townships, some by choice, others by circumstance. Townships are characterized by freestanding, low-density houses. They are a taxi industry which sought to respond to the mobility problem established during apartheid, business ventures undertaken to provide income such as paza shops, chisanyamas, car washes, hair salons, and barber shops. Some were incepted during apartheid as a response to make ends meet. These spaces have continued to rise in number and influence post-apartheid. These spaces have become staples in black townships, strongly associated with black culture and how the youth view townships today. Next on our agenda, we will be discussing the notion of place, specifically sense of place and its relevance to townships. The following section derives information from Cartel et al. 2019. Place is dual in nature. It is physically constructed and socially constructed. How people in and around organizations experience place, how they feel about a place, how they remember and imagine that place, how they practice place, what activities they perform to protect or change these places affect their actions and interactions with the place. The notion of sense of place refers to the subjective and emotional attachment that people develop in relation to place. It comes from the authentic and unique relationship or attachment that people develop with a place. Sense of place stems from where people feel most attached and rooted. It forms a fundamental locus of meaning for individuals and collectives. As we inhabit a place and experience it in the present, we remember and enact past experiences of it, and maybe project a future sense of place. Our lived experience of a place constructs what it means to us. Moments such as time spent, narratives about a place as input for describing one's identity, or what the place represents all form highly personalized sets of meanings. The present lived experience can be informed by the past. Places evoke memories of collective or personal past. They stand as embodied symbols of collective or individual history. When coming back to the place in which we grew up, the familiar fragrance of that place immediately brings back memories of what home used to be. It may make us feel nostalgic, or it may bring back painful memories. Sense of place is the experience of place in all dimensions: physical, social, psychological, intellectual, and emotional. It includes the symbolic meaning of place and the beliefs, perceptions, and attitudes held towards a place. Residents' attachment to a place, both conscious and unconscious, form parts of its sense of place, as are their feelings about local and political issues and relationships with other places. Why study sense of place in townships? We want to explore how people form a unique relationship and attachment to townships, since they were purposely deprived, disempowered, and isolated. Black people would always find themselves going back to Dacin to relive the experience, to be in a place that accepts their culture, to be with people who are like them, to remember what happened, what is happening, and what can happen. Dacin has feelings, memories, and experiences attached to them. It has created a source of identity for many Black urban dwellers, and a sort of dependence has come from that. For many Black urban dwellers, the township is home. It is where the heart is.